Talking about these. Yeah. Talking about these. Yeah. Alright, so some crazy things that just went on. R. Kelly, he gets granted a bond. Next thing you know, we have Michael Avenatti. He gets convicted from extorting money out of Nike, as well as he has more hearings coming up for extorting money out of other people, victims. He actually has people that were clients of his that actually he stole money from. He extorted it from them, is the right word. Oh, the famous Stormy Daniels. We know the Nike situation. It's really crazy. So, and then R. Kelly, on the 13th, there was a filing for R. Kelly. Basically, he has Jane Doe number 2 removed. So all the charges and everything like that from Jane Doe number 2 gets removed out of the indictment. Boom. So then they added a Jane Doe number 6. So Jane Doe number 6 gets added onto the indictment, and all the charges associated with Jane Doe number 6 gets applied to that indictment. So the indictment is not exactly a new indictment. It is a revised indictment, a superseded indictment with the charges for minor 6. So I hate the way mainstream media puts it out that, you know, R. Kelly's got this new indictment in Chicago. You know, here we go again. No, like, the narrative has to be put out there correctly. And the correct narrative is Jane Doe 2 got dropped from the indictment. Jane Doe 2 allegedly is Lisa Van Allen. Lisa Van Allen, not too long ago, she has kids. One of her children's father had went and took to social media and put up this post here. So this right here is to Lisa Van Allen from David Wright. My daughter mother extorted R. Kelly for $200K. He paid $100,000. And when he didn't pay the other half, she went and testified on him and that sex tape shit. She's trying to extort me and using my daughter as bait. I won't pay it, so she won't let me see my child. She has her boyfriend speak to me and mishandle my daughter. My daughter told me she burned her. She claimed she didn't know what happened to my child. So her only threat was to file an arrest warrant on me in Georgia for not returning my daughter back home. But we never set a specific date. And court date set for the date of my actual birthday, Monday. I'm telling my friends and family in case I don't make it out. But I got 3 lawyers on the case. They claim it's just civil. And I have proof I did try to return my daughter home one time. She didn't care. She only asked me for the money. She's trying to set her boyfriend up to lose his freedom along with me. Because touching my child is a one-way ticket to eternal salvation. Pray for me. This is a real situation. She misled me and never told me she was the girl in the sex tape that her and her people created. They set R. Kelly up for failure. She know I'm the only person who knows the truth and can expose her. So she prefer me in jail, out the way or dead. I'm stronger than the average man and smarter than the average bear. Watch me walk, y'all, and stand up for my daughter. Hashtag chess never checkers. So that's Lisa Van Allen's child's father. Things just are a little sketchy with that whole thing. And then as far as Lisa Van Allen goes now, let's not forget in the Lifetime documentary, she refused to go into the Lifetime documentary. She said there were a lot of new people that were not creditable. So she didn't want to even participate in what was going on. She didn't agree with Lifetime and the way they were handling things. Not to mention Drea Kelly, also R. Kelly's ex or ex-wife. She also had said the same thing about the Lifetime documentary. So the question is this new minor 6 or new Jane Doe 6 added onto the indictment from the new documentary? That remains to be seen. That remains to be seen. So, I don't know, but I heard. Anyways, moving on. So, we'll see what happens with things with that. So we got the Michael Avenatti case that had came about. Michael Avenatti, real quick, I have pulled up a document from, it was like ABC News or something like that. But I want to real quick read with Michael Avenatti. Now, Michael Avenatti is a lawyer who is actually covering, he was actually, some of the accusers are actually clients of Michael Avenatti. It's funny because one of the ladies that were living with R. Kelly, her parents somehow have Michael Avenatti as her father, Azriel Clary, her father has Michael Avenatti as his lawyer. Things is just a little crazy, but it's so obvious. It's so obvious, I can't believe no one's really picking it up. But, mainstream media, they want to go with the flow. They don't want to go against the flow, okay? Let's make R. Kelly look like a bad guy, a real monsters guy. So, this article about Michael Avenatti, who was a lawyer that was representing women that were against R. Kelly. There was an interview I did with a woman, and her name was Latoya. Latoya had explained how she was approached by Tim Savage, in regards, they had negotiated and was talking about the whole R. Kelly saga. And she said basically it was like Tim was trying to get her to come with them. And she did, and she kind of followed through with the narrative. But then she realized, like, these people wanted her to get up on TV on national TV. It was Gloria Allred and a Lizette Martinez. They was on national TV doing a press conference, and this girl Latoya was actually supposed to get up there and do it, and she said, no, I cannot do it. I'm not getting up there and lying. She clearly says it in her video, and she says this multiple times. So I have a live recording of her. She called into my show, and we talked about things. So again, she said the parents had kind of pulled her in to see this lawyer because they had found out that she had relations with R. Kelly. Now, as far as Latoya goes, she had sexual relations with R. Kelly, she said, but she was fully in for it. It wasn't like he coerced her or assaulted her or anything like that. She actually says she can't believe that these women are saying he treated them like that because he wasn't aggressive in that nature. So, moving forward, Michael Avenatti. So he was convicted of the Nike extortion trial. A federal jury in Manhattan has convicted Michael Avenatti of trying to extort Nike. Avenatti, who gained fame representing adult film star Stormy Daniels, was found guilty Friday afternoon of honest services wire fraud, extortion, and transmitting a threat in an interstate communications charge. He could face up to 42 years. During the 2-week trial, jurors heard phone conversations between Avenatti that he had with Nike in March 2019, in which he demanded millions of dollars in payments and threatened to release allegedly damaging information about the shoe company. So, in the prime of Michael Avenatti's extortion is the case with Nike, at least, and there's a couple other victims, and then now, my opinions, does his extortion also spill over into the civil cases that would possibly come out of these accusers if they were to file criminal charges or try to go after and file civil cases against R. Kelly? Was he their speaker in between them? Would he have been in a position where he would have been trying to extort money out of these women who are not very up to par on the legal system, how things work? I'm just saying. So, they said, let me move down and see if it says that the FBI had said that Avenatti used threats of economic and reputational harm to extort Nike by threatening to hold a news conference on the eve of the company's quarterly earnings call and announce allegations of misconduct. Avenatti explicitly said to Nike he was not effing around. He demanded a $1.5 million payment to his client, Gary Franklin, who ran a youth basketball league in Los Angeles that Nike had stopped sponsoring. Court records also show he demanded a $22 million payment for himself. So, let's see here. They're also saying that basically he has 2 more cases coming up. The next stage is sentencing and appeal. He's got 2 other cases. But Avenatti is Avenatti. He's a strong guy. They said he's obviously disappointed. Then they go in and say he's going to stand trial in the same Manhattan federal court in April on charges that he defrauded Stormy Daniels, whose real name is Stephanie Clifford, out of $300,000 from her book deal. After that case is completed, Avenatti is scheduled to stand trial in Los Angeles in May on charges he defrauded multiple clients. So he's currently locked up. It says Avenatti remains in federal custody at the troubled Metropolitan Correctional Center after prosecutors caught him moving around money in violation of the terms of his release. So, Michael Avenatti. So he's in jail for extortion. So he had his hands in a lot to do with the accusers of the R. Kelly case. Now, here we go. So R. Kelly's, indictment came up. He had this scheduled bond hearing. He is scheduled to go to court on March 5th for a bond hearing. It got approved. That was, approved to have a bond hearing. So, I say just pray. Pray for him that he does get a bond and can come out here and fight these charges head on. Face the accusers head on. Not even face them head on, but know what he's dealing with. Try to do concerts, make money, whatever. I know there's a lot of people out there that are against R. Kelly, but when you end up understanding what is really going on here, it's scary. Real quick, I'm going to play you guys a clip of one of his accusers. Her name is Dominique Gardner. This is a really old clip. It's been floating around the internet for so long. And I'll play you another clip just to refresh things, of one of the parents on a phone call talking about how he's extorting the money out of R. Kelly, so to speak. He didn't say that verbatim, word for word, but in the recording, I'll let you hear it. There's a lot. There's a lot here. It's really messy. There's a lot of recordings that have been released. Mainstream media will not play them out. They do not play them out. You would have to be involved in the YouTube land and just kind of look up R. Kelly and watch a lot of things and start looking up. And these accusers, like if you do your research on each individual accuser, you kind of start to see a pattern of just a pattern, okay? Things just don't match up the way that they should. You got certain employees who are disgruntled. You got females who are disgruntled at the fact that they couldn't be the one. They just couldn't be the one for him. He had other females that he had in place to be that number one female. These other girls were just groupies, fans, trying to get a come up off of him and his name. And I kind of learned a lot of this as I went along. So anyways, guys, the new indictment is not a new indictment. The new indictment, the indictment is old. It's an old indictment. It was superseded. It now has a Jane Doe number 6 in it. Jane Doe number 2 was taken out of it. Again, I read y'all what her boyfriend had said. Or not her boyfriend, her children's father had said. Her child's father had said. So, and again, I'm going to play some clips after this video, and I don't know, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments. Please hit the like button. Subscribe to the channel if you have not already been subscribed to the channel. Thank you so much for listening. Take care. Talk to you soon.
Somebody say they love you, and in the same breath, spit in your face.
That's what you say R. Kelly did to your daughter?
Yes.
My name is Dominique Gardner. And I'm quite sure you all heard about my mother, Michelle Kramer. And I'm here to let you all know the truth about her, expose her of the liar she truly is. Now, I know you guys are probably judging me like, oh, how her daughter just gonna put her mother out there like that, but truth be told, she put me out there like that, so it's only right that I come back and tell you guys the truth, because she's been putting lies out there, and I'm here to tell the truth. First of all, my mother, she knows where I live. She came all the way to LA pretending like she was sick, tricking me into coming to see her outside of my hotel door, which I did open because as a daughter, you think your mother's sick. So what do? You want to be there for her. But in this case, she came with a camera crew from Lifetime. And when I opened the door, she ambushed me with cameras. Took me off guard. And I closed the door on her. Because that's wrong. She's trying to make it seem like I'm held captive by R. Kelly. And that's not the case. I am not a victim. And what's funny is that I just spent the whole weekend with her. But I'm held captive. I escaped. No, that's not the case at all. My mother, she's money hungry. She's upset because I stopped paying her bills. Because technically, R. Kelly was paying them. I will ask him for money to give to her so she can pay her bills. And once I couldn't do it anymore, I just got tired and fed up. I told him the truth and he cut it off. And she didn't like that, so she threatened to kill herself, my little brother, and the dog. Just for some attention, just because she wasn't getting a paycheck anymore. Like, that's sick. How could you say that about your own child? You gonna kill your own son because the money stopped rolling in? Like, you guys have no idea. She's trying to play like she's a victim, like she's actually concerned about me, but truth be told, she's not concerned about me. All she wants is the fame, the publicity. Lifetime offered her $5,000 to do an interview, to come to LA to expose, I don't really know what they was exposing, because as you all can see, I'm good. I'm just tired of the lies. I just want everybody to know the truth. And there you have it. That's the truth, spoken from Dominique Gardner. Don't believe anything else no one say. Like, oh, Dominique said this, I heard Dominique said that. No. What you're hearing right now is what Dominique said, so let that be known. And that's the truth.
February 18, 2003, I get a phone call to come down and do his hair. When he came to the room and he asked me for that head massage, and I told him I didn't do massages, I laughed it off. And I didn't know he was for real.
But I thought that shit was cool, just like you. But who could I blame? Was it my mama's fault for not putting me up on game? Or was it society making me feel like I had to fuck whoever said hi? May 23rd, 1996. I mean, it slowed me down for a second, but I was tripping out there badly in the fix. I couldn't let my addiction get neglected. I just couldn't stop sucking dicks, because I was sucking fast like I was intoxicated. Because the nut was like a drink and I was inebriated, meaning never sober. But I had to wake up though. And not because I was tired of being that slut though, but because she had reminded me of me. You know how those other sluts used to be.
I got this bitch saying it on goddamn tape, video and audio. You can see her goddamn face saying this shit.
That's crazy as hell.
But I'm in control of it.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof. I got this shit on motherfucking video and audio. I just trying to hold that shit because my daughter's in a situation. I got this bitch saying it on goddamn tape, video and audio. You can see her goddamn face saying this shit.
That's crazy as hell.
But I'm in control of it.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof. I got this shit on motherfucking video and audio. I just trying to hold that shit because my daughter's in a situation. I got that bitch saying that on goddamn tape, video and audio. You can see her goddamn face saying this shit.
That's crazy as hell.
But I'm in control of that little bitch.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof. I got this shit on motherfucking video and audio. I just trying to hold that shit because my daughter's in a situation. I got that bitch saying that on goddamn tape, video and audio. You can see her goddamn face saying this shit.
That's crazy as hell.
But I'm in control of that little bitch.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying. I can let you listen to 4 hours of motherfucking tape. That bitch mama told her to go back and get some more motherfucking proof. I got this shit on motherfucking video and audio. I just trying to hold that shit because my daughter's in a situation. I got this bitch saying that on goddamn tape, video and audio. You can see her goddamn face saying this shit.
That's crazy as hell.
But I'm in control of that little bitch.
Well, maybe she all over the place because she lying. When it comes down to Faith, I'm skeptical about Faith. I don't know.
That bitch lying.
Oprah when handling black men who were being accused of sexual assault.
This is more extreme. I showed even in the memes, you see it, like Weinstein. Look, I'm gonna be honest with you, right? I do look at some of the like how these situations develop. Like one person says something, then there's 20 people that says something, and then all of them.
As far as the allegations,
right? And all of them forgot to say something for maybe 10, 20 years. And then it turns into 25 women, and 25 women disappear with no admission of guilt, just $25 million. You see what I'm saying? Like in the Weinstein situation, it felt like 25 people went away with $25 million and no admission of guilt. That felt like a cash grab, like a money grab to me. And because if it was about the actual movement, at that point, would they be after justice or money?
There were some women who weren't after the money.
Two, it's only 2 people.
Right.
And then you're just the Weinstein case.
That's just the Weinstein case. It's just 2 people. But even in that, they look, and you're not sure that it's not going to end up the way it would end up for one of the African Americans involved in that.
Right. And so in your mind, you're seeing because someone's wealthy and because they're white.
It changes it. So don't make it me saying that. You had to see this.
No, I say this all the time, right, but we're interviewing you.
No, we have.
But that's the way it is. You know what I mean? It's not.
And for you were seeing.
Wait. What about our president? He told me just grab her by the pussy.
Right, and he's got 13 allegations.
Yeah, and what? What the documentary at?
Right. Matter of fact, I hear that TMZ.
A little bit more of that silence, right? For the still sick and suffering. A little bit more of that silence.
Oh, but we've been saying this too.
Yeah, but that's not an easy victim. He's not an easy victim, and his supporters were going to support him regardless of the documentary. So that ain't the one that they're looking for. They're looking for the one where they can actually turn the audience.
Right.
And it just destroy the person. You know what I mean? Like,
now, for the, I guess, you know, for the interviewer, like in Gail's sense, where she's talking to Lisa Leslie, they did this whole interview and
talking